do people create those complex projects knowingly, maybe subconsciously, because then it makes it easier to avoid doing it. And it's like a form of self-sabotage, like my big grand idea for this thing. And then it's like, I've got it and it's great up in my head. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this time. And they don't, because they've made it so complex that there's just so many more opportunities to just say, fuck it. I'm just going to watch another episode of,
Mad Men.
Mad Men.
No, that raises the question, at least in my mind, like, do you think it's a common, I guess, how common do you think it is for people to subconsciously self-sabotage? Like, and this is completely like, I'm not being like, oh, well, I think this, what is your thought on this? Like, I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about this. I think some people do self-sabotage.
I do too. Absolutely.
Do you think
100%
more people self-sabotage than not? Like, what?
I don't know. In my circles,
You're like, everybody. So, no.
I don't know if it's, I mean, self-sabotage.
I guess
there's so many.
Maybe we define what we mean by self-sabotage too. I just think that's an interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a subconscious psychological phenomenon. Like, it's
for me, I think it's just, I mean, because I think sometimes in the traditional way we think of self-sabotage, we think of like destructive behavior, like that like causes harm to yourself. And I don't mean like physical harm necessarily, but
saying something that,
like something like, for me in this context, self-sabotage means, especially in this specific topic of creating, the snowball and building work and a body of work and discipline and consistency and all that stuff. It would be, I'm going to make this thing. There's all these projects I want to take on. I've got a lot of client work, or I've got a full-time job, or I've got all this stuff going on that, it's just not an option to not do that stuff. But I still have a dream, or I still have a desire to make work. Self-sabotage to me is, in that instance, whatever excuses or things you come up with to make you feel better about choosing not to do it.
Yeah.
Of choosing not to see it through.
And you think those are sometimes innate from the onset of the project?
I think so. I think sometimes we might be thinking in such grand terms because of our confidence, maybe because of our ego, because we're consuming stuff that is so incredible, whether it's a Paul Thomas Anderson film or somebody's like a crazy YouTube channel that just does amazing work, whatever it is that we're consuming. And we know we're capable of that if we have the right ingredients. I have these cameras, or I have these people I can get to help me, or whatever. Like, I can do that. So when I think of my idea, it's going to be that, big, grand, maybe complex project. The magnum opus, is that the right word? Magnum opus, the masterpiece or whatever. And we maybe
the masterpiece.
We maybe come up with those ideas on such a grand scale because we know when we come back down to reality from that place of high inspiration, high motivation, excitement, all of that, we can use how grand that vision is. Well, I can't get 3 people to volunteer to do this.
Yeah.
The cost to rent those cameras, and I can only do it with those cameras. The amount of time editing it, whatever, you just start talking yourself out of doing it.
Do you think that's like, and this is on, because I wrote down, let's break down the dynamics of completion or success.
Yeah.
And so, you're looking at something that inspires you and you're like, I'm inspired to go make something like that.
And we've had plenty of conversations, whether our conversation got you inspired about something for you,
right,
something for us to do, something for me to do, etc.
Right. So, but like, let's say, you watch a movie and you're like, wow, can't do that. Like, is the instinct maybe just, I guess what I'm trying to is like, Do you think that that self-sabotage is inherent from the start? And we'll go beyond self-sabotage because I do want to move into like what can be done to kind of counteract these negative forces. You know, if these are the negative forces, the self-sabotage, the doubt, the, you know, failure to meet the gap.
Yeah.
If these are the negative forces, then like
The resistance.
what is the positive that can counter, or what are some positive forces that can, you know, simplicity, obviously, simplifying the process at first, momentum, things like that. But I'm interested in on this idea of like self-sabotage. Is that something where is it like your eyes are bigger than your stomach type of situation? Or do you think it is like you get in and then you don't know enough to know that you don't know enough, and then you get far enough in and you hit a wall because you're like, oh wow, this is actually impossible? Or do you think it's like you're subconsciously, you know that you're gonna have an out anyways? Like basically what I'm saying is it predestined to run into a wall, or is it like, oh, ran into a wall, can you adjust and move past it?
My feeling would be that I think that self-sabotage is a symptom of a greater issue with your mindset, with your perspective on making work.
Do you think there's certain people that don't self-sabotage at all?
Who have
Like
where
maybe-
self-sabotage is not a symptom of that mindset?
Exactly. Like, or they have a mindset that doesn't allow for that.
I'm just going to say it's possible, but
Yeah.
I would have to sit here silently thinking about it for a while, like running through my inventory of experiences.
I don't have like a fixed opinion on
No,
this.
no.
Like,
I mean,
we're exploring in real time, people.
Yeah, we are
Like,
100% exploring
Yeah.
this in real time. But yeah, that to me is, you know, I feel like what I'm thinking of self-sabotage to be is a symptom of a mindset that has unique ingredients of, for me, the person that I see, someone with high confidence, maybe sometimes arrogance or ego, some stuff going on there. I see someone that has done complex work, but they haven't made their work. So they're capable of a lot. Somebody who has, this sounds weird, but like sort of visionary thinking, like they have a lot of ideas. They're someone that has been like, oh yeah, you know that thing? I had that idea 15 years ago, and not like in a shitty way, like that person's lame.
And just like I actually think like you're modeling off of a specific, I guess, type of person, and you're not modeling. I think you do have some of these qualities, but I just want to clarify. Like, I have context as to some of where the model is coming from.
Well,
he's not modeling off of himself in this situation, and I think you share qualities, but I just like, I don't like, you're not like, I just want to kind of quell the idea of, you're like, oh, I think, you know, this person, because he actually does have a model in mind.
I have several.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's people that I have been in contact with that that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But then there's also myself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And not necessarily.
I just wanted to like squash the idea that you're not like, you know.
But part of me talking about this is self-examination. It is self-awareness. I am going, what elements of this mindset may not affect my photography or my YouTube work or other work I'm doing, but do affect why I'm not doing Ted Snow, or why I'm not tackling other more ambitious ideas that I have, because they are complex. They do have a lot of complex moving parts, whether it's help or, not that I have an idea specifically, but like putting a Kickstarter together and getting money, or pitching something at the studios, or a video idea I have, or whatever it is. So I think it is accessing my own experiences and my interpretation of what I've seen from other people. And then also my understanding based on what other people have told me with their issues with making stuff. And this is something, you know, as we have conversations like this where we're relatively an open book to each other with our frustrations, our shortcomings, our self-sabotage, our triumphs, everything that we've done that we're excited about, proud of, whatever. That dynamic between us exists with me and other people as well,
Right.
where you have conversations that you could argue are sort of a therapy session, for lack of a better term, where there's an open exchange, being vulnerable, truthful, forthcoming, and really people that can deploy self-awareness and go, I think this is what's happening with me and why I'm not doing what I want. Because a lot of this comes from essentially conversation with people that are going, if I could design my life, it would be this, but my actual life is this. And, I don't sit there and go, well, let me tell you how to get to where I am because I've designed my life.
Mine is
And let me
perfect,
tell you,
yeah.
every box is checked.
Yeah.
But I do think that I maybe for those people have a couple more boxes checked than they do. And we're drawn to each other because I like talking to people about ways they can think of things differently or try this or do this to see if they can get those boxes checked. And I think they might like talking to me because I was in some instances where they were,
Yeah.
and I kind of figured a few things out.
It had been a golden afternoon, and I remember having the familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the sunrise.